The high speed time dimension of the long end of a lever is exactly balanced in the slow speed accumulated power time dimension of the short end. Move the fulcrum and both time dimensions change with increase or decrease of power. Change of dimension does not mean change of the universal constant of energy. The resistance to generated energy is registered in heat. The greater the accumulation of energy by generation, the greater the temperature registered as a resistance to that accumulation. The greater the generation of energy, the greater the radiation. The radiation of all energy is accomplished only by the assistance exerted in the direction of the force of any established motion. Assistance to established motion accelerates the speed-time dimension and distributes potential by decelerating its power-time dimension. The heat radiated by the sun is assisted by great pressure back of it and resisted by less pressure ahead of it. Expansion is thereby assisted just as contraction is resisted. Cooling is the result of assistance, just as heating is the result of resistance. It cannot be too often repeated that there is no effect of motion in which its opposite effect is not simultaneously present and sequentially preponderant. The word preponderant should always be understood in reference to any state of motion. Radiation generates and generation radiates. Expansion is assisted, but also it is resisted. The falling water expanding into a cooling spray generates heat by the resistance of the pressures through which it falls. That potential which is being generated must be simultaneously radiated in a less degree, but radiation will eventually become preponderant in its cumulative reaction sequence. The universe constant of energy is never changing. It but appears to change. It is never unbalanced, never out of equilibrium. There is but one force which runs the cosmic clock, and all the wheels of this universe turn with all of the energy of the universe back of each one of them. The only difference is one of dimension. Difference of dimension is actuated by the desire of thinking mind. All of the power of the universe lies in the dimensionless universe of inertia. Work is the principle of the evolving cycles, work of mind and work of body. Work is the principle back of the continuance of the appearance of existence, work born of desire and performed in ecstasy. Without work, form cannot hold itself together. Without work, reproduction of any accumulated ideal would be impossible. Degeneracy of the body begins when physical work relaxes. Degeneracy of the mind begins when concentrated thinking relaxes. Form can only be continued through the effort of sustaining an appearance of stability by creating a progressive series of opposing planes of instability. The effort required of man or of nature to do this requires increasing expenditure of energy. Each effort contributes to the next effect. Each effort contributes to the next effort. The progress marked by each effort is conditioned by the force of the desire back of that effort. That desire chooses its own dimensions and runs the gate of that desire. All things can be what they desire to be. Desire and effort to be evolves into the reality of that desire. The dimensions of any wave of energy are the dimensions of desire. The accumulation of all potential is the result of a series of explosive actions actuated by the force of desire and stabilized by their reactions. Inertia cannot be overcome, nor motion take place without the concentrative desire force of the creative image-making faculty of mind. The universe is apparently divided into a kaleidoscope complexity of varying energies, all of which are exact multiples of the universal constant as far as first cause is concerned. The variability of these energies depends solely upon desire, which alone controls the dimensions of that multiplicity. Power-time dimension is conditioned by restricted area of orbit, decelerated rotation, and accelerated revolution, which is nature's method of accumulating high potential. Speed-time dimension is conditioned by expanded area of orbit, decelerated revolution, and accelerated rotation, which is nature's method of distributing the accumulation into low potential. Potential energy is an accumulation of the energy constant locked in a position of equilibrium by an equal and opposite pressure wall of resistance. It is the breathing spell between effort and effort where the accumulated energy is apparently arrested. Kinetic energy is the generative concentration of effort expended in building new pressure walls of less stability, or the degenerative relaxation of effort which allows the pressure walls to expand toward inertia. Kinetic energy is the work of performing energy. An interruptive resistance to the flow in either direction will perform work. Work performed by a magnetic stream is a regeneration of energy. It is the conductive stream, which the electrician measures in amperes. Resistance to its conductive flow through a wire regenerates energy and reverses discharge into charge. The electric light is a good example of regeneration of degenerating energy. Conversely, work performed by an electric stream is a further generation of energy. It is the inductive stream in which the electrician measures in volts. Resistance to its inductive flow through the accumulated plates of a storage battery adds to energy and increases positive charge. High potential energy is generated with increasing pressure resistance, which means increasing deceleration of speed time and an equal acceleration of power time. One must always balance the other.